Enjoy the cash, sweetheart. It's all fake. If someone had told me my marriage would collapse over a text and a stack of counterfeit bills, I might have spent less time fussing over recycling Coke cans and more time building a backup plan. But hindsight's sharp. Back then I was Harry Ellis, 39, running the local Coca-Cola bottling plant in our state capital. Convinced my biggest worries were whether Tyler would pass algebra and whether Jenny needed braces. That Tuesday morning began ordinary. Amanda stood at the kitchen island, phone pressed to her ear, whispering to Michelle. Those girls' nights had become a ritual over the past 6 months after Michelle's messy divorce from her banker husband. No, Jake said he'll handle Miami, Amanda murmured, her back to me while I filled my thermos. The penthouse faces the ocean, and he knows all the right people. Jake's name had been surfacing more and more. Jake Sanderson, the city's new golden boy, peddling a wellness business that seemed to run on late-night schmoozing and expensive champagne. The kind of man who bought the whole bar around and spun a different origin story depending on the audience. Morning, beautiful, I said, kissing Amanda's cheek. She flinched and pulled away from the call. Oh, hey, honey. Michelle and I are planning another weekend. I really need these breaks. Breaks from what, I wondered, our comfortable suburban life? The kids who adored her? Me working 60-hour weeks to keep us comfortable while she figured out what being 36 meant now? Daddy, can you help me with my science project? Jenny appeared, 9, concentration creasing her face. I need a volcano that actually erupts. Sure, sweetheart. We'll hit the hardware store this weekend. I ruffled her blonde hair and watched Amanda barely register our daughter. Tyler slouched into the kitchen, a 14-year-old bundle of attitude and bedhead. Mom, I need lunch money. And can you sign this permission slip? Amanda waved him off without looking up. Ask your father. I'm busy. He gave me a look that was far too knowing for his age. Come on, Dad. Let's handle this. I signed the slip, handed Tyler a 20, and caught him watching Amanda with the same slow fatigue I'd felt for months. Kids see everything, even the small phrase you think you hide. After the school run and Amanda's upstairs yoga session, which seemed to involve far more calls than stretching, I sat in my home office staring at the safe. A wedding gift from Amanda's parents, the Baileys, delivered along with a lecture about financial responsibility that really translated to, we don't trust our daughter's husband with family money. The safe held emergency cash, vital papers, and a small insurance cushion I'd put away when Amanda's behavior started to feel off. I've always been twitchy about money, grew up without it, so when Amanda began making strange withdrawals and chatting about investments with Jake, I got clever. I replaced half our emergency cash with the best counterfeit bills I could source. Not because I planned to spend them, no one wants federal prison, but because I suspected Amanda might do something reckless and I wanted a way to sting whoever got greedy. They looked perfect to a casual eye, but any serious scrutiny would reveal them. My phone buzzed. Phil, my boss. Board meeting moved to 2. Wear the good tie. Phil was old-school Coca-Cola, rose from delivery driver to regional supervisor over 30 years, and he knew I had 2 ties. The plant was my refuge. The mechanical rhythm, the hiss of carbonation, the syrupy smell in the air. Honest work, not Jake's vaporous wellness empire or Amanda's sudden consulting hobby. Harry, you look like someone pissed in your Coke, Phil said when I walked into his office. Everything okay at home? He'd always known about the Baileys and their disapproval. The usual domestic bliss, I said. What's the meeting about? Cost cutting, he said. Streamlining operations. Don't worry, he added, your job's safe. Just keep your ears open. By 6:30 the driveway felt wrong. Amanda's BMW was gone. Tyler shot hoops in the driveway. Jenny sat on the front steps with a book. Where's Mom? I asked. Tyler said she'd left about an hour earlier with 2 suitcases and had been glued to her phone. Jenny looked up, eyes bright and oddly tearful. Kids sense everything. Upstairs the safe hung open. Empty. Every bill gone, Amanda's passport, jewelry. She'd left the documents that actually mattered, birth certificates, insurance policies, the deed, so either she'd packed in a rush or wasn't planning to vanish completely. My phone chimed with a text that froze me and made a cold smile cross my face. Cleaned out the safe, starting fresh with Jake. Don't try to find us. This is for the best. Amanda. I stared at it, then typed, enjoy the cash. What she didn't know was the $30,000 she'd stolen was perfect counterfeit, beautiful to look at, utterly worthless in practice. Jake Sanderson, smooth-talking wellness man, was about to learn a harsh lesson about trust. I checked Amanda's closet. Half her clothes gone, handbags gone, the diamond earrings from my 10th anniversary missing. Her wedding ring sat on the bathroom counter like an accusation. Dad. Tyler stood in the doorway, Jenny close behind. Is Mom coming back? I looked at them, Tyler playing tough but scared, Jenny clutching her book like armor. Something in me hardened. Not just anger, but a cold determination. I don't know, buddy, I said. But whatever happens, we'll be okay. Tyler nodded, doubt flickering behind his bravado. Jenny hugged my leg tighter. Can we order pizza? She asked in a small voice. Absolutely, extra cheese, pepperoni, and those little peppers you like. While I dialed, my brain was already 3 moves ahead. Amanda thought she was brilliant, running off with her boy toy and our savings. She had no idea what she'd actually taken, or what was coming for her. The next morning brought 2 things, a bourbon-fueled headache and a phone call from Michelle that threw everything into focus. Harry, oh God, Harry, you need to know, Michelle's slurred, panicked voice said. I'm so sorry. I never thought it would go this far. I stood in the quiet kitchen while the kids were at school. What are you talking about? I asked. The money. Amanda and Jake, they went nuts last night. Hit 3 casinos, bought drinks for everyone. Jake was throwing hundreds like confetti. Amanda couldn't stop laughing about being free. I gripped the phone. How much did they spend? All of it, Harry. Every last dollar. Michelle's voice dropped to a whisper. Jake's got connections, not legal ones. They talked about laundering money through his wellness centers, using Amanda's trust as seed money to fund a gambling scheme. My counterfeits had done one thing I'd hoped for. They'd become bait. Where are they now? I asked. Jake's penthouse downtown. Michelle's tone trembled. Some guys in suits showed up at the casino around midnight asking questions about the bills they used. They looked like federal agents. Federal agents. My plan had worked in an ugly way. Those fake bills would draw the attention that real cash might have avoided. Michelle, keep your distance. Don't answer Amanda. Don't go to the penthouse. And if anyone asks, you don't know anything about their money, I ordered, hanging up and dialing my lawyer, David Chen. David's voice was practical and chilling. Passing counterfeit currency is a federal crime. The Secret Service handles it and they don't play. If someone unknowingly passes fakes, they might get leniency, but if there's evidence of intent or ties to other crime, you're looking at serious federal time. And if you're sitting on counterfeits, turn them in immediately. Good advice. I felt a strange relief. Amanda had stolen from me and our kids and run off with a criminal, but now the law might catch up to them. Amanda called later, voice tight and pleading. Harry, we need to talk. Do we? Your text yesterday sounded pretty final. She mumbled about a misunderstanding, that some money might be problematic. Problematic how? I asked. Can you meet me somewhere neutral? I'll explain. For a moment I almost said yes. Fell back into the role of fixer, the man who cleaned up her messes. Then I pictured Tyler's face and Jenny clinging to me. No. Amanda. You made your choice. Deal with the consequences. I hung up, turned off my phone, and spent the rest of the day moving through routine. Work, errands, homework, dinner, tucking Jenny in. That night Tyler knocked on Jenny's door. Dad, there are guys outside in a black car. I looked and saw 2 men in a nondescript sedan across the street. Federal agents. Just as Michelle had said. Stay with your sister. Don't answer the door. The bell rang. I smoothed my shirt, checked my reflection, and opened the door. Mr. Ellis. I'm Agent Rodriguez. This is Agent Martinez. Secret Service. We'd like to ask about some currency passed at several establishments last night. I invited them in, offered coffee, played concerned husband because that's what I was. We understand your wife has been spending household funds, Agent Rodriguez said, settling in like he belonged. Can you tell us about the cash you kept in a home safe? Emergency fund, about 30,000 in mixed bills, I said. Kept it for peace of mind. When did you last see it? Yesterday morning before work. When I returned, the safe was empty and my wife was gone. Agent Martinez leaned forward. Some of the bills your wife used last night were counterfeit, very high quality, but fake. Shock moved through me, then confusion, then anger. You're saying my wife stole fake money from our safe? We're trying to trace where the bills came from, the agent said. I played the confused husband. Amanda handled much of our finances, came from money, her parents showered her with cash gifts and advances. I assumed it was legitimate. The agents exchanged looks. We'll need to speak with your wife, they said. Good luck with that. She's holed up in a penthouse with a boyfriend, spending household funds. If she's involved in illegal activity, that's her business. You're focused on taking care of your kids. They left after taking notes and contact info, probably heading to Jake's penthouse. Tyler came down after they left. Were those cops? Secret Service, I said. Do you think Mom's coming home? I didn't. He told me something that made my stomach drop. He'd overheard Amanda on the phone saying she could make it look like I was stealing from work to get a better divorce settlement and custody arrangement. She hadn't simply bolted with money. She'd been planning to ruin my reputation. The counterfeit cash might not only trip her up, it could save my job. I hugged Tyler tight. Thank you for telling me, I said. That was brave. We're going to be okay. 3 days later my phone woke me at 6. Amanda crying. Harry, I'm at the county jail. Jake's in federal custody. I need bail money. I made coffee and checked the news. Buried on page 3, local businessman arrested in counterfeiting investigation. Jake's wellness empire was allegedly a money laundering front, and the fake bills had led investigators to him. How much? I asked, though I'd already decided. 50,000, she sobbed. My parents won't take my calls, and my lawyer says if I can't make bail I'll sit in jail months. Maybe you should have thought about that before you cleared out our safe. I made a mistake, a huge one, but I'm still the mother of your children, she pleaded. I couldn't stomach it. Really? While Tyler needed help with his science project and Jenny wanted bedtime stories. Where were you? Planning your great escape with your criminal boyfriend. I said. She started to cry harder. It wasn't supposed to go like this. Jake said he had it under control. Jake's a con and on pills, Amanda. Half the town knows it. For a moment I almost felt pity. Then it passed. She whispered that the kids needed their mother, that they needed stability. Talk to your lawyer about visitation, she begged. If you get out. I hung up and called David Chen. I need emergency custody papers and divorce filings, I told him. This changes things. With federal charges pending, custody should go our way. David cautioned to move carefully, but I was done waiting. Amanda had stolen our life savings, abandoned our children, and got mixed up with criminals. How much slower should I move? Point taken. I'll have the papers ready by this afternoon. The next few weeks blurred into a carousel of legal meetings, court dates, and doing my best to keep the kids' world steady. Amanda eventually made bail. Her parents mortgaged their house to pull her out, but the damage had already been done. The custody hearing felt almost anticlimactic. Amanda arrived hollow-eyed and frantic, expensive clothes wrinkled, hair unwashed. Her attorney, a public defender who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, offered a half-hearted plea about temporary insanity and the importance of maternal bonds. Judge Patricia Williams didn't buy it. Mrs. Ellis, she said, looking over her glasses, you abandoned your children to chase a relationship with a man now facing federal charges for money laundering and counterfeiting. You siphoned your family's emergency funds and squandered them on gambling and alcohol. Explain why I should permit unsupervised access to these children. Amanda's voice was barely audible. I made mistakes, but I love my children. Love isn't enough, Mrs. Ellis. The judge's words landed steady. Children need stability and adults who put their welfare first. I am granting temporary full custody to Mr. Ellis, with supervised visitation for you pending the resolution of your criminal case. Amanda crumpled in the chair, sobs ripping through her. Her parents in the back row looked 10 years older overnight. Outside the courthouse, Amanda's mother blocked my path. "This is your fault," Patricia Bailey hissed. "If you'd been a better husband, Amanda never would have looked elsewhere." I stared at the woman who'd spent 15 years making it clear I wasn't good enough for her daughter. "Mrs. Bailey, your daughter stole $30,000 and ran off with a criminal, and somehow that's my fault?" I said. Amanda was unhappy. She needed more than you gave her. What she needed was to accept responsibility for her choices. Instead, you and your husband spent 20 years telling her she deserved everything on a silver platter. Patricia flushed red. "How dare you?" she spat. "How dare I what?" "Tell the truth," I replied. "Your daughter faces federal prison because she assumed she could take whatever she wanted without consequence." "That's not on me. It's on you." I walked away as she sputtered on the courthouse steps. Tyler waited in the car, insisting on coming to the hearing. "How'd it go, Dad?" he asked. "We won," I said. "You and Jenny are staying with me." He tried to look composed, but relief shone through. "Is Mom going to prison?" he asked softly. "I don't know. Maybe." "Good," he said quietly, then looked startled by his own words. "Is it terrible to be glad your mother might go to prison?" I pulled him into a hug. "Your mother made choices that hurt us. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to want consequences. I just want things to be normal again." "They'll be different," I said, "but normal." That night, after Jenny slept and Tyler did homework, I sat in my office with a beer and folders of legal documents, custody orders, divorce papers, and financial records spread on the desk. Amanda had tried to destroy our family for a fantasy and instead had blown up her own future. My phone buzzed, Michelle texting, "Heard about the hearing. I'm sorry. Amanda's staying with me until trial. She's not doing well." I typed back, "That's not my problem anymore." Even saying it stung, not guilt exactly, but a sadness for what we'd all lost. Amanda and I had once been happy, or at least I'd assumed we were. We'd built a life, had kids, made plans. Now she faced federal charges. Her parents had mortgaged their home and our children were asking why their mother didn't love them enough to stay. The counterfeits had been more effective than I ever imagined. Amanda hadn't just stolen paper. She'd stolen her future. My computer chimed with an email from Phil. "Board meeting tomorrow, good news to share." I closed the folder and opened the laptop. Whatever came next, Tyler, Jenny, and I would face it together. Amanda chose this. Now she would live with it. The board meeting the next morning was exactly what Phil promised. Not only was my job safe, I was promoted to regional supervisor, Phil's old role, because he was retiring to fish and spoil grandchildren. "Congratulations, Harry," Janet Morrison, regional VP, said. "Your plant's efficiency is the highest in the Southeast. Team loyalty scores are off the charts. The promotion includes a 40% raise and a company car." I shook hands around the table, accepting congratulations from executives who'd never bothered to learn my name before. The irony wasn't lost on me. The same week I was divorcing a woman who'd always said I'd never amount to anything, I scored the biggest promotion of my career. "There is one thing," Janet added as the meeting dispersed. "The promotion involves travel. You'll oversee 6 plants across 3 states. Is that a problem with your family situation?" "Perfect timing," I replied. "My kids and I could use a fresh start." Driving home in a new silver Chevy Tahoe, worth more than Amanda's BMW, I felt something I hadn't felt in years, real optimism. Tyler and Jenny waited on the porch when I pulled up. Jenny ran to the car. "Daddy, is this ours?" "It's mine from work," I said. "I got promoted today." Tyler whistled. "Way cooler than Mom's car." We celebrated at a downtown steakhouse. Amanda had called too expensive for a Tuesday. Tyler ordered the largest steak. Jenny chose shrimp bigger than her fist. I had the best bourbon they carried. "So what does this promotion mean?" Tyler asked between bites. "More money, more responsibility, and travel," I said. "I'll be overseeing plants in Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina." "Will we move?" Jenny worried. Probably eventually. Tyler exchanged looks with his sister. Dad, can I be honest? He asked. I'd like to go somewhere people don't know about Mom and all the stuff that happened. Jenny nodded. Kids at school keep asking where Mommy is and why she's not at events. It's embarrassing. My heart tightened. 9 years old and carrying the fallout of a parent's choices. We'll see what opportunities arise, I said. Wherever we go together. The next months settled into a new rhythm. I dove into the job, plant visits, efficiency rollouts, building rapport with new teams. The kids thrived on stability. Tyler's grades climbed, Jenny joined advanced reading. Amanda's trial was set for fall. David warned she faced 3 to 5 years in federal prison, though a plea might reduce that to 18 months and probation. She wants to see the kids, David told me. Her lawyer thinks it helps with sentencing if she maintains family ties. Absolutely not, I said. She's had supervised visitation for 6 months and never used it. She doesn't get to play the devoted mother now. David cautioned that absolute denial could backfire. Fine, I relented. 2 hours once a month in family court with a social worker, and only if she's been sober 30 days. Amanda never took us up on it. Michelle, who still texted updates despite my lack of interest, reported Amanda was drinking heavily and had moved back in with her parents after eviction. The Bailey's house was in foreclosure. They'd borrowed against it to pay bail and legal fees. Patricia's gallery had closed after wealthy friends distanced themselves. Richard Bailey, who'd lectured me about responsibility, now worked as a furniture store sales associate. I should have felt compassion. Instead, I felt a cold satisfaction that justice had begun to land. Tyler raised the subject of revenge one afternoon while we worked on his long-interrupted volcano science project. As vinegar met baking soda and foam fizzed, he looked up. Dad, are you going to get Mom back for what she did? I paused. What do you mean? She hurt us, he said. She hurt you, me, Jenny, Grandma and Grandpa Bailey. And it seems like she's just going to prison, and that's it. Your mother is facing federal charges, I said. She's lost everything. Family, home, reputation. What more punishment do you think she needs? He considered. I don't know. It seems like she should really understand what she did. Prison is just sitting in a room. She should feel as bad as she made us feel. Children's words cut. Clean. That night, I sat in my office and seriously thought about what Tyler had said. Amanda would go to prison, yes, but she'd be out in a few years, rebuild, maybe spin a story of redemption, paint herself the victim. Meanwhile, Tyler would be in counseling for abandonment. Jenny would have nightmares. Maybe Tyler was right. Amanda needed to truly face the consequences. I opened my laptop and began researching. By morning, I had a plan. It took 3 months to execute and was elegant in its simplicity. First, I hired a private investigator, a retired detective, Sarah Kim, who specialized in financial crime. Sarah dug into Jake's operations and found far more than counterfeits. Jake wasn't just funneling money through wellness centers. He ran a full-scale fraud scheme, selling fake investments to wealthy retirees. The counterfeit bills were the least of his crimes. More damning, Sarah discovered Amanda's role wasn't limited to victimhood. She'd actively used her trust fund connections to recruit marks for Jake. My wife hadn't merely cheated and stolen, she'd been running cons. Harry, this changes sentencing, David told me when I handed him Sarah's report. If the prosecution proves her active participation, they'll pursue harsher charges. But not from me, I said. Step 2. Sarah packaged the evidence into an anonymous FBI tip. Bank records, recorded calls, victim statements. The tip was untraceable and devastating. Amanda's plea deal evaporated. What might have been 18 months became 10 to 15 years. Step 3 was personal. The week before the trial, I called Patricia Bailey. This is Bailey. Patricia, this is Harry. We should talk. Her voice was thin. Months of scandal had carved her features. We met at a neutral downtown cafe. She looked older. The roots at her hairline showed gray. What information? She asked. I slid a folder across the table. Bank records revealing Amanda had been planning the thefts for over a year. moving money from joint accounts, opening secret credit cards, forging my signature on loan paperwork. Patricia's face drained of color as she flipped through page after page. "Where did you get this?" she whispered. "Does it matter?" I leaned back. "Your daughter didn't make a mistake or get swept up. She planned to financially ruin me and vanish with Jake. Those gifts you made? The way you wired funds to pay bail? It was part of her plan." Her hands shook as she closed the folder. "You're lying." "Check the dates," I said. She began moving money the day after Jake's first Miami retreat. I stood to leave and added, "And that expensive lawyer you hired? Jake recommended him. Ask why a money launderer would suggest a defense attorney." I left Patricia staring at the folder as if it contained a verdict. The final act unfolded in the courtroom, a media spectacle with everything tabloid fodder loves. Wealthy socialites, federal crimes, family betrayal, and a con man preying on retirees. I sat in the front row with Tyler and Jenny. Amanda looked haggard, the toll of the past year visible in gaunt cheeks and lifeless hair. The look in her eyes as the trial progressed satisfied something dark in me. Dawning realization that she was utterly alone. Her parents were absent. The expensive counsel she'd retained had mysteriously withdrawn, and she had a public defender. Michelle moved to California to escape the scandal. Jake cut a deal with prosecutors and testified against her. The verdict: guilty on all counts. Amanda collapsed as the bailiff led her away in cuffs. She looked at me once, and I saw recognition. Not pleading but understanding. This was justice, measured and precise. Outside reporters pressed for a sound bite. I gave them what they wanted. I'm glad my children and I can finally move on. Amanda made choices. Now she must live with the consequences. Tyler and Jenny flanked me, the perfect grieving family posture for the cameras. That night, with the kids asleep, I sat in my office with bourbon and the morning papers. Amanda faced 12 years. Her parents lost their home and standing. Jake was in protective custody, having made so many enemies that general population would be a death sentence. My phone rang. Michelle, calling from California. "Harry, you probably don't want to hear from me, but I had to say, what you did to Amanda was brilliant." "I don't know what you mean," I said. "Come on," she pushed. The anonymous tip that torpedoed her plea, the evidence that made her expensive lawyer drop. You orchestrated it. I sipped bourbon and said nothing. "She deserved it," I finally said. Michelle admitted she'd overheard calls where Amanda plotted to destroy me and take the kids with Jake. "You beat her to it," she said. "Amanda brought this on herself." After she hung up, I checked on the kids. Tyler read under his covers with a flashlight. Jenny slept surrounded by stuffed animals. They were safe, and free from Amanda's chaos. Whatever I'd done to ensure that safety, it felt worth it. The next morning David called while I made breakfast. "Harry, you won't believe this. Amanda's appeal claims coercion by Jake, but prosecutors have evidence she masterminded several cons. Jake was the front man." I almost laughed. "So, her appeal's going nowhere. They may tack on more charges. She could face 20 years. 20 years. Tyler would be 34 when she was released. Jenny 29. They'd be adults, far from her reach. Also," David continued, "the IRS is examining her parents for tax avoidance tied to money they gave Amanda. They could lose everything." Perfect, I thought, and hung up. Tyler appeared at the kitchen doorway in pajamas. "Good news, Dad?" he asked. "Very good news." He grinned, the first truly happy smile I'd seen in over a year. "So we can move to North Carolina?" he asked. "We can do whatever we want, son." Jenny burst in, hair wild. "Are we having pancakes?" "Whatever you want," I said. "Today we celebrate." Mixing batter while the kids planned the day, I reflected on the year. Amanda had tried to blow up our family for a thrill and got precisely what she deserved. Full custody passed to me, a thriving career, and the satisfaction of seeing justice unfold. The counterfeits were just the opening act. Everything that followed, investigations, evidence, the timing of revelations, was arranged to ensure Amanda faced the consequences of her choices. She wanted danger, easy money and excitement. Instead, she got years behind bars and the knowledge that she'd lost everything for a con man who sold her out when it benefited him. Tyler had been right. She needed to understand the damage she'd done. Now she had a dozen years to think about it. I flipped pancakes, smiled, and pictured our new house in North Carolina, the kids' new schools, the life we'd rebuild. Steady, honest, and far from Amanda's chaos. A life where actions had consequences, and justice had been served with a side of perfectly measured revenge.